Imagine, you walk into an old church. The air is heavy. The smell of incense mixes with something old, forgotten. Light passes through the stained glass, but it doesn't illuminate everything. There are corners where the darkness does not retreat. Churches are places of faith, but sometimes they are also places where the boundary between worlds becomes thinner. Today you will hear stories that cannot be explained by logic, and that perhaps would have been better never to hear. The confession no one heard. Poland, a small village, an old church more than 200 years old. The priest began to notice a strange thing. Every night, exactly at 2:13, someone was sitting in the confessional. At first he thought it was a joke, but when he came closer, he heard a whisper. Not words, but something like an attempt to remember language. One time he sat opposite and said, "Speak." Silence. And then a voice, dull, inhuman. "I've been here for a long time." The priest asked for a name. The answer made him lose the ability to speak. "You know him. You baptized him." The next day he went through the archives and found the name of a boy who died 40 years ago and who was buried without confession. After that, the priest never again entered the confessional at night, but the parishioners began to hear someone crying where there was no one. Not all souls find peace, and not all doors lead to the light, the bells that ring by themselves. Italy, a mountain monastery. In the 17th century, a tragedy happened there. One monk accused another of heresy. He was locked up without a trial. A few days later, he was found dead. But before his death, he said, "When the truth comes out, the bells will speak on their own." Centuries later, the monastery became a museum, and everything was quiet until one night. At 3 a.m., the bells began to ring, by themselves, without wind, without people. The guard went up to the tower and saw that the rope was moving, but no one was holding it. The camera recordings showed something worse, a shadow, standing near the bells, and it had no body. Since then, the bells sometimes ring, on the days when that monk is mentioned in the archives. The icon that watches, Ukraine, the forgotten rural church. There was an icon there, old, darkened, but everyone said the same thing. Its eyes move. The priest did not believe it until he stayed there overnight. At midnight, he woke up because he felt that someone was watching him. The icon was opposite him. The eyes were no longer looking straight, they were looking at him. He came closer and noticed traces appeared on the surface, like tears. But it was not water, a dark, thick liquid. After this incident, the icon was taken away. But people said it wasn't crying, it was warning. We are used to thinking that the sacred is safe, but what if sacred places are simply older than our understanding? The priest who did not leave. France. An abandoned church after the war. The priest died during a bombing. His body was never found. Years later, locals began to see light inside. One man decided to check. He went in and heard a service, a voice, prayers. He approached the altar and saw a figure. The priest was standing with his back turned, reading a prayer. When the man called out to him, he turned around, and his face was destroyed, as if after an explosion, but his eyes lived. The figure said only one thing: "The service is not finished." After that, the church doors were closed forever. The door that should not have been opened. Spain. An old church on the outskirts of the city. It had one strange detail, a small wooden door behind the altar. It was always locked, and no one knew exactly what was behind it. Old records said only one thing: Do not open during the service. For decades, no one broke this rule until a new priest arrived. He did not believe in superstition and decided to check. One evening, during the service, he took the key. The parishioners noticed when he approached the door, the candles began to go out, one by one. The air became cold, too cold for summer. He inserted the key and opened it. What happened next? No one can explain the same way. Some heard a scream, some the whisper of hundreds of voices, and some said they saw darkness that was moving. The priest fell to the floor. The door slammed shut by itself. When he was brought back to his senses, he said only one phrase. It was not meant to be found. After that, the door was boarded up, and the church was closed. But locals still say, if you pass by at night, you can hear someone quietly knocking from the inside. Churches were built as places of light, as places of hope. But over the centuries, they have become witnesses to what people could not let go. Prayers that remained unanswered, souls that did not find peace, and doors that should never have been opened. Perhaps the scariest thing is not what hides in the darkness, but that. Sometimes it is right where we seek salvation. If this story made you feel something that is hard to explain, leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next stories, which perhaps are better not listened to alone at night.